Okay, so I'm filming from a different angle to override the crack in my thing, and my hands are blue. Don't ignore the fact that I'm a Smurf. It's been a rough couple of days. I rented Back to the Future trilogy, all three movies from the library, and I have been watching those and gone over them. Which is why I had been talking about Back to the Future on my community tab recently, and how Crispin Glover saw it as a tragedy because Marty has all of these memories that nobody else has, these memories of a life that only he knows was real or should be real. And people are making fun of me because I'm saying, well, that is a tragedy. But I'm coming from a world where everything I know has been changed. So I do see it as a tragedy because it's my life, like if you ask my family, they'll give you a complete fantasy world compared to what I remember. And I have all of these fragments of pain, but I don't have full memories because I blocked a lot of it out. Trauma caused me to block a lot of it out, and PTSD from future trauma caused me to block out even more, to the point that I have very little of my childhood left in my brain aside from snippets and stories that I was told from my family before they changed the story. Because they used to be honest. My grandmother used to tell me the things that would happen at my parents' house when I was a kid. My aunts knew. They would talk about it. My sisters. But now, because it's public, right, they would talk about it in private. They would be open and honest completely in private. But because it's become public now, they won't be honest. And it's fucking with my head because I don't know what's truly real and what's not. There's a documentary called Tell Me Who I Am. I'm sorry, I'm sweating so much. It is very hot today. Anyways, this documentary is called Tell Me Who I Am. And it's about this fellow. Well, it's these two men. They're twins. And one of them has a brain injury as an adult, and he loses his memory. He can no longer remember his childhood. And he's reliant completely on his brother to tell him who they were, what they liked, what their mother was like, what their childhood was like. And his brother lies to him because their childhood was abusive, and his brother thinks, I have the chance to give my brother happiness that we never actually experienced. And he took that chance. And he lied, and he told his brother a complete fabrication of their life. But his brother, the one who couldn't remember, felt like it was wrong. Like he internally felt incomplete. He internally felt like there was something more, something he was not being told, something that was being hidden, because there was. Even if we can't properly remember our lives, it's still there in our brains. It's still a part of us. And that's why with me, with them pulling these strings, like they know I'm schizophrenic. They know how easy it is to manipulate my memories, which is part of why they're doing it. But it's so important as a human being to know your history, to know your family's history, to know who you are and how you connect in this world. And that's something I'll never have because there's such a huge conspiracy to cover up who I really am and who my family really was. I wish to God I could find and contact somebody outside of the family who could be honest. Because nobody in the family is going to be honest. There's a narcissist at the head of it, and nobody in the family wants to upset. It's blood. They're not going to go against her. There was a couple. This was a long time ago. This was maybe 2003. I was still in high school. My older sister had recently moved out and moved into our other grandparents' house. My father's parents had died. She moves into that house. I shouldn't be laughing, but she took everything out because it smelled. Old people have old person smell, and she decided that there was no getting rid of it, so she took everything out and put it out the front yard. We got a phone call. My dad had to go over there. All of the furniture, this like 100-year-old furniture, was just sitting out there in the garbage. Anyways, the part of the story I was trying to get to. When she moved in, she had neighbors. My grandparents had neighbors. She did not like these neighbors because they were gay. That was the sole reason. She would come over every day complaining about the faggots next door. And she waged war on them to the point that she eventually had to leave that house because she was the problem. Just like my father and her throwing dirty diapers at the neighbor's house out on Lee Road, they eventually had to leave that property because they were the problem. If I could get a hold of some of these people, some of these neighbors that actually had to deal with my family and get their completely unbiased stories, unafraid of what my family's going to do to them because they're not connected to my family, then I would have a slight power to take back my memories. I would have other people validating that, yes, this is what these people were like. This is how, and that's not to say that that's how my family is now. The way we were raised is not necessarily how we turned out. But we were all pretty fucked up when my father and my mother were still alive fucking us up. And it sucks that I'm the only one that has memories of that. Like, my younger sister boycotted reading The Diary of Anne Frank because Anne Frank had lesbian thoughts at the beginning of the book, and she wasn't going to be indoctrinated into homosexuality that way. The reality is she just didn't want to read a fucking book. But that's the kind of family that I come from. And it means a lot that that's the kind of people they are, because it's the exact opposite of what my aunt has told you that they are.